right, and we're out here at El Cajon Valley High School with the El Cajon Valley Braves. I tell you what, we've got a lot of guys on this team this year, and interestingly, Coach Nick Osborne's got a lot of underclassmen. So we've seen this story before, the El Cajon Valley Braves coming off a tough luck season, but you got a coach who cares, a coach building a program, and I've got several guys here that are going to be part of the experience starting this season. We're going to throw last year's season out, guys, and some of those games, but joining us right now, Dave, from left to right, Cajon White, an offensive lineman, and our friend Clarence Johnson from last season, you might remember, and Brandon Blackburn, the senior, joining us, and Wendell Walcott, also big lineman, and right here, Demarius Hyde, another explosive player. Wow, Dave.
Coach Osborne and I had some conversations after a lot of those games too, and the one factor that was always there though is that they played all 4 quarters, and that the Braves are always playing with their heart 100%.
Yeah, I'll start to Cajon with you down there. You're going to lead this line. I mean, hey, you're our anchor, it looks like to me, and I think Coach sees that and the players see that. Tell me about what's going to be different with the Braves this season.
Last season we went through a lot of ups and downs, and last year we had people coming into our first game that we thought were going to be with us that ended up not being with us, which drug our whole team down for the rest of the season. But this year we know we have a actual steady team to like go into our first game and feel confident and feel like we're going to actually compete with every single team we have on our schedule. So everybody's real excited to get out here this year and actually just compete and play our hearts out. So yeah.
And Clarence, not unfamiliar territory for you. You had, all things considered, you had a pretty decent year, but we all know that we play as a unit. We don't play as individuals here at El Cajon Valley High School. But you did have a pretty decent year with all things considered. And what would you say is going to be the difference maker for you, especially offensively, this season?
The heart and trust amongst the team. It's not the same as last year. Last year we just wasn't working together as a unit as we should have. And everybody was coming from different backgrounds, was not coming together to put all the differences to the side and work together as a unit.
And what's different about this offensive line too? You want to talk to us about that also?
This year our O-line, we feel like we can all trust each other and rely on each other to pick up our blocks. If somebody misses a block, we know that there's another person right next to us that sees that and knows and hopes they pick up that block. So we all just have a trust in each other that we're going to do our jobs. So yeah.
And then how about the rest of, besides yourself, some of the other key receivers that'll be catching some of those balls from Mr. Malone?
All right, well, we got Brandon Blackburn right here. He's gonna be working from the outside. Sometimes on my side, sometimes the opposite side. He's a key player. And we have one other player, Muhammad Harris. He's gonna be working the same side as me.
And what are your thoughts on this year's offensive line as opposed to last year, and the improvements and the whole rethinking of things this season?
I feel like they really get what to do now. Like they know what to do when it's their turn to work on the field. So last year, because they were all over the place last year, not knowing who to pick up, where to go, missing people to block.
Dave, I think my next question really is for Cajon and for Brandon, because you look at the way that this team is built right now and the way the Braves are looking to the future, and then look at some of these talented juniors we have here with us. Brandon, it's going to be tough to leave these guys after this year. Sure, we're going to shoot for our victories, get that W this year, maybe 2, maybe 3. But look at the rest of the talent here too. It's got to be a little bit, you want to have a great senior year, you and Cajon, but man, we're building.
Yeah, we are building. The younger guys do have a lot of talent, and when I leave, I'm going to miss them a lot, playing with them on the field, going to practice with them every day. But, that's just, I wish they came a little sooner.
Wendell, the discipline for the El Cajon Valley Braves always starts in the trenches. And sometimes in the past, we've lost our cool, we've lost our heads. What are you going to tell these guys? Keep them in line and keep us steady.
The main thing I would tell them is trust each other and like have faith in each other. And, like if, for instance, I don't pick up a block, I trust that my guard pick up a block will help me get my block.
Demarius, you and Clarence Moy, for the highlights that we had last year, is basically you and Clarence running up and down the field. Sometimes, unfortunately, it's on kick returns, but that just shows to the skill that you guys have. I mean, you get a chance to show it. You got to show it somehow. But this year we get to show it in some different ways. Maybe on the defensive side, maybe on special teams. I imagine you guys want to do some more special things.
Yeah, me and Clarence, we're just trying to do our best out here. Make sure we can run the ball up and down the field, and put pressure on the defense, and make our stops on our part.
Dave, these two, I'm talking about Clarence and Demarius, combined for almost 600 yards of total offense last year. So there's not an inexperienced skill level at this point. I mean, these guys have experience. They've faced those tough games. They have a fire because of the losses last year.
Right, and going back to last year, what are going to be the differences? This is to Demarius and to Clarence between last year's quarterback and this year with Joe behind center.
I feel like we have a stronger connection with Joe than we did with last year's quarterback Lantis. I feel like he was just like more distinct from the team.
And would you say that he's also? I seem to pick up, my opinion anyway. He has a great attitude and brings that leadership and putting the whole puzzle together and leading you guys on to victories.
Joe's a good leader. He'll help us up, make sure we're doing our part, and like push the offense up. We have a good connection. We've been playing for a good 3 years now. Joe does his part and make sure like we run the ball, throw the ball good, make sure we can run our offense correctly.
Cajon, Joe was on the field last year, some at quarterback. He looks like a different kid this year. He looks different. He looks like a quarterback.
Yeah, this year he's worked extremely hard to better himself and better the whole team, to make sure he has his passes down, to make sure he has everything down just in his skill set. And he's got a lot better from last year, and that goes for the whole entire team. And everybody you see right here, everybody's got a whole level better than what you seen last year. So I think it's going to be completely different. So, yeah.
Clarence, I got another one for you. Last year we talked about your explosive plays, but 3 interceptions, and I think kind of went overlooked. I mean, you had a great year defensively too, on the field quite a bit. Tell me about the defense.
Our defense, we've always been solid. Like working on what we have to do. It's just executing the block. Executing the tackles. But it's just when we get into open field is a one-on-one situation. We were struggling at that a lot last year, which ended up making it where whoever the offensive guy holding the ball is could break free and run freely down the field where we have to be in the foot race.
Brandon, you see it that way?
Yeah, I see it that way. I had a couple struggles last year too on the defensive part, but we are a better defense this year. We are tackling better. So.
Wendell, what's the future for this program? Not only this year, but maybe next year as well. Do you see this as a 2-year project for you? We're going to make some noise this year.
Yeah, I think we're going to make some noise this year. We're going to do the table of running this year. I think in my next 2 years here, they're going to be an epic one playing with these guys.
Demarius, not only this year, but maybe next year too. I mean, it's not out of the question for the Braves to make that complete turnaround from last year's season and end up with a winning ledger.
Yeah, this year we're going to make a big impact. We're going to change what we did last year. We're going to correct our mistakes and make sure we have a better game plan this year.
And, Ramon, you were touching on it. I mean, we got some very, and this goes for all of you guys, very winnable non-league games that are pretty attractive. And then I'm sure Coronado is definitely at the, I think we can all agree, at the top of the list. The league game, is there anything that stands out to you guys?
Our league games, honestly, we're just going in this year trying to win each game, not just league, but every single game we actually step on the field. But one game in particular that everybody wants to win, and that's the Santana game for sure.
We're all in agreement.
So yeah, but that's one game we're really excited about this year too. So yeah.
Tell me about some of those games. We got Vincent at home, Coronado. We're going to get them right here. We're going to get the Hoover Cardinals right here. These are teams we got to win.
Those are teams we just got to come out and play our hardest. You know, we just got to do our job, make sure we execute our plays, and like if we do that, we can win, come out with the W.
All right. Well, let me run these guys down again. Get to know them right now, because 3 of them are going to be around for 2 more years. I got a couple leaders too. But thank you very much, guys. Just going down the list. Cajon White, you can't miss him in your program. If you can't find him on the field, just look for the heights and the weights, and you'll find him there. Clarence Johnson, our buddy from the podcast last year, Brandon Blackburn, senior leader of this team, and also Wendell Wolcott and Demarius Hyde. So for the El Cajon Valley Braves, for Dave Dickens, I'm Ramon Scott, and thank you for joining us.